KD4 is many people's favorite Kevin Durant signature shoe. It's definitely given us a ton of memorable colorways. The Galaxies returned earlier this year. Later this year, the Nerfs are coming back, so Nike is definitely leaning into the KD4 in 2024. And one of the most bold, out there, unique, crazy colorways of the KD4 is coming back in May, and it's inspired by Kevin Durant's fascination with weather. KD4 Weatherman. Now this shoe is dropping on May 21st for $140, or apparently May 21st, because I still don't see it on sneakers yet. There are shoes that are dropping on May 23rd that's already loaded up, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Definitely keep your eyes out if you're looking for this shoe. And this KD4 Weatherman originally appeared in 2011. It was one of the most noticeable and one of the most eye-popping colorways of the KD4 at the time. Honestly, if you grew up during that era, I think a lot of people considered this colorway grails. And first impressions of the KD4 Weatherman. In terms of just the shoe and silhouette itself, like the KD4, I prefer the KD3s just in terms of the shape more than the KD4s. I think that's just a bit cleaner. Usually I don't like shoes with like straps and stuff. And in terms of the colorway of the Weatherman, it's just very unique. And especially growing up during this time when this dropped, it was just so loud, so bold, so different. Yeah, just so much nostalgia tied with this colorway. I wasn't able to get it in 2011, but now that it's coming back around, definitely need to keep this in my rotation. And the KD4 was one of the first basketball shoes to use Hyperfuse. So essentially Hyperfuse uses 3 layers of material. So the end material acts kind of like a skeleton, and then they put a thin layer of mesh just for increased ventilation. And third, it is like the outer shell. And the outer on this upper, just like the Galaxy, it's like this kind of plastic material. It just does not feel the nicest. And the way I can describe it, it's like this kind of thin, very thin, cheap feeling metal kind of feel over it. In contrast to like the KD4 Year of the Dragon, this upper is kind of like this scratchy type of material. So if you can hear the scratch there. Out of the two, I think I prefer this. I'm not saying this is like the best. I think I prefer like just genuine leather over anything synthetic. But out of these two, I definitely prefer the upper on this. And the KD4 also uses this adaptive fit system. So you see this crossfoot strap that goes over. And on this particular pair, you see like weather patterns. I'm not sure what the official name of this is, but you've seen this if you've ever seen like weather information. And then very subtly in the middle, you'll see KD's number when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, number 35. And when you open the strap, you'll see the word adaptive fit. And this strap, just like in a vacuum, it does feel very flimsy. So it's like very thin. It's got a lot of weight savings. That's what KD wanted. He really wanted like a very lightweight shoe. And it actually does provide a pretty good fit. So when you lace it up and you stretch it as far back as you want, you really do feel pretty locked in, especially if you're like cutting and running, doing kind of hard pivoting movements. And then on the tongue, again, KD's number when he was with the Thunder. And this material is kind of got that like shiny, synthetic leather feeling. It's kind of almost feel like a vinyl finish over it. That material extends all the way through to the heel. And of course on the booty of the shoe, you see KD's logo. Now, one thing I want to point out that's also on the booty, very, very subtly, in other words, Big Chucky, like imprinted into the outsole of the shoe. Now, Big Chucky, if you didn't know, he was a mentor to Kevin Durant when he was growing up. He was his youth basketball league coach. He was unfortunately murdered at like 35, very, very young. So this is a dedication to him. Just a very, very cool detail there. Very nice storytelling. And the KD4s does come with a Phylon midsole with just one Zoom Air unit on the forefoot. And this is a pretty stiff and like dense Phylon. This is pretty similar to the KD4 Year of the Dragon Phylon. And it's also got this plate across the midfoot for torsional support. Now overall in terms of cushioning, because this is pretty stiff and dense Phylon, as well as just one Zoom Air on the forefoot, you don't really feel much cushioning at all. If you really like that low profile, flat to the ground, on-court feel, you'll like the setup of the shoe. Personally, that's what I've always kind of preferred when I was growing up. But as I get older, I do tell myself I need to get better cushioned shoes. My left knee is pretty much completely busted at this point, so I should really emphasize cushioning more. This very low, close to the ground feel would have been pretty good for me personally, like 5 to 10 years ago. Right now, it's probably not the best for my knees. Overall cushioning, you just don't really feel it much at all. And in terms of traction, the pattern is actually Thunderbolts. So obviously, Kevin Durant was still with the Thunder when the KD4s first came out. I will say the traction is good if you play in a very clean, well-maintained gym. The gym I was at wasn't that clean, a bit dusty. So you'll see I actually have to wipe my shoes quite often. But generally, if you're in a well-maintained gym, this will provide very sufficient, very good traction. And then on the top, very subtly again, you'll see the words Barbara, who is Kevin Durant's grandmother, and then Tony Man, who was his brother. His name's Tony, but people call him Tony Man. And then right across this midfoot area, you'll see the word stay focused, and the other shoe says work hard. And then again, very subtly in this cutout area, you'll see the words or the phrase designed and engineered to the exact specifications of, and then Kevin Durant's signature. Of course, usually the traction doesn't come with this very colorful pattern that is officially, I think the name is a Doppler radar image. So again, related to the weather, playing into the storytelling of the shoe. Now the insole of the shoe, I can't rip it out because it's just glued too tight to the shoe. However, it's pretty cheap, it's nothing too good. Doesn't provide extra cushioning on a shoe that's already pretty lacking in the cushioning department. And the pattern on the shoe, it is mismatched branding on the insoles. So on the right shoe, there's a thunder icon, a cloud icon, and then a sun icon. And then on the left shoe, the phrase, the forecast calls for a thunderstorm. And the box of the shoe, a pretty regular Kevin Durant box. Would have preferred something way crazier than this. The shoe is already crazy, just give us like some weather theme on the box, but nope, black box. I'm not complaining about black boxes, but expected something more. Now in terms of overall sizing and comfort, this is probably most people's biggest complaint with the KD4. This is a very narrow silhouette. I am a wide footer, but even in this shoe, I still just stuffed my foot into a true to size KD4 because I'm primarily using the shoe as a performance basketball shoe. And personally for me, when I play, I want a very, very, very tight fit. I don't want any extra gaps when I cut, when I stop. I just don't want any like sliding motion. If you do have wide feet, definitely consider going up half a size if you're not after like a super tight fit. But for me, that's just my personal preference. Now in terms of the overall comfort, I doubt many people are using this casually. So I'm talking about it in terms of on-court comfort. There's not much cushioning. So if you're after that, just forget about the shoe. Around the ankles, the padding is okay. It does feel kind of like just cheap around this area. It just doesn't give you the most padding. Doesn't feel like very well guarded. I will say the overall like lockdown and support of the shoe is very decent. This adaptive fit system actually works pretty well. And this midfoot plate does give you more support in that area as well. It's a pretty lightweight shoe as well, especially compared to bricks like the LeBron 4s. This is like a treat. This is golden. Now usually I'll go through the sole score of a shoe, but most shoes that I review are like casual use or retros that aren't performance driven. I don't think the sole score really applies to a performance driven shoe. And even though this is an old shoe that came out in 2011, I still see this as a performance-driven shoe, so I won't give this a sole score because it just doesn't make too much sense. This era of basketball shoes, it's just so much nostalgia for me, basically from like mid-2000s or maybe even early 2000s to like mid or early 2010s. I just think back on those memories, just such a fun time. Basketball was such a big part of my life back then. And the KD4, even though they were never like my favorite signature shoes, Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players ever, but I never gravitated towards him like I did with like Allen Iverson, Derrick Rose. But without a doubt, some of the KD4 colorways definitely made a huge impression. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the KD4 Weatherman. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.